Greetings, Substack friends. I'm putting a little bit of a personal appearance in today, as it's been a while, and you may have noticed there are fewer interviews as of late. So this particular channel is going a little bit in a direction. I'm finding my way after 1 year. Uh, I'll be focusing on certain themes more, especially around um, hopefully providing some thoughts and experiences, experiential techniques for us to explore agency. That question of how do we make a difference? And at this time, when there is so much fear, confusion, despondency, despair, hopelessness, anger, and mixed in with a little bit of hope for something better somehow, it really feels crucial for us to have a modus operandi. How do we go about facing the world? So many are feeling overwhelmed these days. It's hard to know what to believe. The faith that we've had in the institutions that have navigated our journey as a civilization are falling short for the most part. Um, Religion, the family, government, universities even. So we have to be creative, and also there has to be, as far as I'm concerned at least, some kind of a spiritual lens that each person can view the world and themselves through, and to have a kind of a relationship with something deeper, greater, wider, unknowable even. Um, some people call it God or the creator, the source. There are many, many names of the unknowable essence. And, and another factor is the necessity of collaboration. And again, there will be a focus on developing the faculties that we find in what's called the right hemisphere of the brain. And the right hemisphere of the brain is kind of a portal into the imagination and the higher intuition, the body, the soma, which has so much accurate information about ourselves and the world, and the unconscious mind, again, which holds a vast reservoir of data that if we learn how to access it through such methods as Hakomi and Korasomi, the Corazon method for authentic voice and dialogue, then we're much richer and have more of a sense of direction and power to be able to plow through, to use an alliteration, the the challenges of our time. So today's blog is a little bit about, indirectly at least, one of the qualities or virtues, attributes needed to encounter the present age, and that is courage. And the archetype of the sacred warrior. Chogyam Trungpa, one of my heroes, was the first Tibetan Lama to come to the West, to North America. And he spent a couple of years in the UK before arriving in Boulder, Colorado in the late 70s, I believe. And he, in a book called Shambhala, the Spiritual Warrior, he talks about the qualities of what is a sacred warrior. And he says that the real spiritual warrior, in other words, somebody who's dedicated not to violence, aggression, and force, coercion, but more to service and to stand up for justice, to make a difference. The real test is he or she who is able to be courageous and transcend the fear that is everywhere. We're all scared shitless all the time. It's a good place to start. Everything else is gravy after that. But to confront the fear and to be able to nonetheless be courageous and never farther than a hair's breadth away from tenderness and sadness and vulnerability. Interesting definition of warrior. So this article today explores a little bit how military language is used in the Baha'i writings, and also as a metaphor, of course, for the struggle that we have, all human beings have, to overcome the ego, the lower self, sometimes it's called, um, the small s self, and also the language of wine as a metaphor for uh, ecstatic experience, not so much as inebriation, but a different kind of intoxication with the wonder, the awe of the ecstatic spiritual experience. And we find this not only in the Baha'i writings, but also in the Sufi poetry of such great figures as Rumi and Hafiz, who interestingly were from Persia, Iran, as we call it today, and the West is making war, at least the United States and Israel are, is making war on Iran, the land of a great civilization, ancient, and a great cultural wealth. So sometimes, somebody said recently, the only time Americans learn geography is when they go to war against a certain country. And they start to learn little bits and pieces about that part of the world and their history. So perhaps the quotation in today's blog, which comes from Abdul Baha, who is the son of the great Persian avatar and prophet Baha'u'llah, and a friend of mine, Reza, is an illustrator and excellent calligrapher, has taken this quotation and in the original Farsi language, the Persian language, and incorporated it into an image of 4 or 5 horses, maybe wild horses, charging forward. Beautiful, evocative image, and it goes perfectly with the quote, which is about the valiant horseman charging into the field of service, and some of the attributes of that horseman or horsewoman. So I hope you enjoy it, and there will be little bits and pieces of references to a couple of other articles that are here on my Substack. You can go back and find them, and I'll put a link to those so you can do a little cross-referencing if you're the studious type. And please be free in sending a message or a like. It always encourages me to continue this. Oh, and also one other, while I'm at it, one other little point is that I do have, some of you are paid subscribers, which is a joy to my heart. It makes me very happy. It's just a recognition of some value, that you enjoy, and you're getting some value from my hard work. It does take some time and thought, and even some resources. But I'm going to start providing some services here on this Substack channel for paid subscribers only. And I think, I'm not positive yet, but I'll let you know. But one of them will be probably a monthly live meeting, which will be more or less in the form of a little workshop, maybe 1 hour or an hour and a quarter, in which we can have an authentic dialogue on some of the themes that are discussed here, and also learn a technique, an experiential exercise, what we call in the Coruscant method an articulation of nonverbal sound, which is a very powerful vehicle for agency and bringing about a difference, not only in our internal being, our health, physical, emotional, mental, even spiritual, but also in being able to apply certain dynamics, we could say energetic dynamics, intentions into relationship and communication. um, it's working with the chakras in breath and consciousness, mindfulness, visualization. Did I say that? Gentle movement. So there's a kind of a geometry and architecture. And the Course Somi approach is an integration of both the Corso method for authentic voice and dialogue and the Hakomi method of somatic, mindfulness-based self-inquiry or psychotherapy. So thanks for being along for the ride, and I will be in touch with you soon. There will be still the odd interview, which are conversations that sometimes I invite somebody, but those are going to be few and far between in the next while, and I'll be focusing more on writing myself and maybe appearing with my big bald head here once in a while in the flesh, so to speak. People always say in person versus online, but to me, this is in person. Can't get much more personal than this, except, I mean, I'm not seeing you, but that's why I would really be delighted to receive a little message or a comment, perhaps, or even a like on one of the posts. So, bye for now, y'all, and hope to see you soon.